What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. In today's video, if you guys could not tell by the title of the video, we are introducing another vehicle to the fleet. And so we are going to spend today discussing what exactly the vehicle is, how we kind of acquired it, and what the plans are for it. So let's go ahead and show you guys what we got. Alright guys, so there it is. This is a 2001 BMW E46 330i. It's a rear-wheel drive car. Obviously it's a sedan, 4-door, and it's an automatic. So the car does have some options on it. It is not a ZHP car, as you can tell. So it does have the regular bumpers, regular wheels, and all that, but it does have nice upgraded projector headlights. So that's good. And additionally, full power everything, power seats. Obviously no navigation, that really wasn't a thing back in that time period. It does have the Harman Kardon sound system, which is also pretty cool. But super clean on the outside. Obviously there's some dents and everything. It is, you know, an 18-year-old car, but if you look at the body, it's pretty nice. Even the paint isn't too bad. And overall, pretty excited to have this join the fleet of vehicles on this channel. So for those of you that have been following along on the channel, we appreciate your support. My friend Craig, who you guys have already probably seen on the channel multiple times, has a buddy who we actually inquired this car from, and so he's actually been, I think this was the second owner of that vehicle, of this particular vehicle, and has had it for a very long time, probably like at least 10 years at this point, and just doesn't drive the car anymore, and it's been sitting in his garage. We weren't even sure if it worked, but sure enough, works perfectly. Mechanically, the car is extremely strong, and so he wanted to get rid of it, and we took it off his hands. So this is going to be the new project car as well on the channel. As you guys may have already seen, we are also working on Kevin's E92 M3 and turning that into a dedicated track build. So this car is going to be a little bit different. We are going to fix everything that's on it that needs to be repaired. There are little things here and there. It is, you know, an 18-year-old car, and so there are things that need to be done on it to bring it back up to our standards, and we're going to do that first. So again, this is a 2001 330i rear-wheel drive sedan. Obviously, with it being an 18-year-old car, there are some issues with the vehicle, so that you're going to have that with, you know, pretty much any car of this age. But overall, it's maintained pretty well. You know, looking down the doors here, looks pretty good. There's, you know, a couple little door dings here and there, a couple little scratches, maybe you know, some oxidation. The black trim pieces here. The tires are pretty good. They are kind of an all-season Cooper tire, kind of cheap tires, but they get the job done for now. Even the front end looks pretty good. This was actually in an accident. The front end was completely repaired and looks pretty good, but overall the car does need a little bit of work. You know, as you can see, there's a couple little door dings on this side. You know, some paint missing right there a little bit. The wheels are in pretty good condition. A couple little curb marks there, but nothing too crazy. Overall, pretty good. The rear tail light, let's see, the inner tail light here does have a crack in it, so we can go ahead and replace that little piece. But other than that, pretty good. The interior is pretty clean, actually. You know, a couple little things we need to address. You know, this trim piece here is kind of coming off with little clips there that we can fix. This rear window on the passenger side does not work, so what we need to do is get a new window regulator on that. Front passenger side window does work. As you can see, there's a little bit of paint defect right here, but no big deal. This window is good, and then the driver's window also has a regulator that needs to be replaced, but the inside's pretty good. Harman Kardon sound system, all the speakers still work, all of the electronics in the seats all still work, which is great. Again, this is an automatic vehicle, so transmission is fantastic, the motor fantastic, And there are some little things on the inside that we need to address. You know, the shifter and even the dash trim has some cracking in it, so we either may replace that or vinyl wrap it, something of that nature, but no big deal. And obviously there's a little tear here on the driver's seat, but overall, you know, normal wear and tear. May have to condition the leather and kind of bring this back to life a little bit, but plenty of life left in this particular car. This back seat looks pretty good. A couple little issues in terms of, you know, the headliner. You can kind of see here the A-pillar, the fabric is kind of peeling off of the A-pillar, and that's just happened over time. Same thing with that side over there, but you know, the trim could use a nice deep cleaning, and we can see if we can salvage this, but if not, we can always replace that entire piece there. Same thing with here. Down here you can actually see it's kind of starting to crack a little bit along the entire thing, so we can always replace little pieces like that. But again, this is a very solid, super nice car for what it is. And so, you know, when this car first came out, it was probably in the upper 40s, I'd say, maybe 50,000, something like that. And the E46 chassis has always been one of my favorites. No, this is not an M3, but we'll get to that in a minute. Overall, pretty solid car. I have no complaints. All right, so the question is, why an E46? Why is it a 330 and not an M3? I have always been a huge fan of this chassis. I've always wanted an E46 M3, but obviously, if you guys have been following the market on those cars, the pricing on those is going up and up. If you have a nice low mileage, high quality, you know, well-kept vehicle, an E46 M3, you know, on Bring a Trailer just sold a few days ago for, you know, mid upper 30s for a 2001 with, you know, 65,000 miles on it. So the pricing on those is skyrocketing, and a 330 is basically the same car, just a little bit detuned and a little bit, you know, less horsepower. But that's something that we can address later, depending on what we end up doing with this particular vehicle. So again, this does share a lot of the same components as an E46 M3. The body style and everything is pretty much the same, so a lot of the parts are actually going to be transferable for an M3 onto this thing. And so depending on what we end up doing with this vehicle, we could take this thing to the next level and completely transform this car. One of the ideas that Craig and I had was to swap the transmission. I think that's something that would be really fun to do. Might provide a lot of good content for you guys out there who are looking to maybe, you know, modify or change your automatic, you know, E46 3 Series and add, you know, either a 5-speed manual or a 6-speed manual, depending on what you want to do. But I think that will be something later on in the plans, would be to swap a new transmission on this thing and kind of address some of the things that might be issues, considering this car has a lot of mileage on it. We're at 198,000 miles on this car, and I will tell you the motor is extremely strong. The current automatic transmission is even very, very strong. So, but, you know, depending on what we are going to end up doing with this car, a manual might be in the works. I personally am a fan of rolling gears, and I know Craig is too. And, you know, Craig's M3 is a DCT, my M3 is a manual, but having this as a manual would be fantastic. What do you guys think? All right, so like I said, this car drives fantastically. For having 198,112 miles on this thing, this car is a champ, and the motor is fantastic. The transmission is fantastic. There are a couple lights here that you'll see on the dash. You know, this service engine soon light actually just popped on, so I think that might just have to be, you know, from the mileage, you know, a maintenance kind of maintenance reminder message. And so since we're approaching 200,000, I think that's just a milestone. Additionally, you'll see this yellow light over here, which I think this might have to do with you know, possibly a wheel sensor or something of that nature, so we're gonna have to look into that one. And every once in a while over here I get a light error message that will pop up. And so, you know, if you turn on the turn signals, hit the flashers here, they seem to be working okay, See, the light kind of pops up intermittently every once in a while. The flashers seem to be okay, but turn signals, it does a hyper blink, so we need to kind of address, see it kind of comes and goes. So I think we've got a bulb that might be going out. Same thing with this side. And I know for a fact, the lighting, the headlights do work, the fog lights do also work, but I know one of the rear taillights on the passenger side is actually pretty dim, and so they're dual filament bulbs, and I think we just need to swap those out with something that's not 18 years old. But otherwise, the interior is super clean. Like I said, there is some cracking here on the shift knob as well as the interior trim here, but we are either going to replace that, since it is some ugly old wood grain. We could replace the trim if we find something pretty cheap, or I do some vinyl wrapping on the side, so I will might end up just vinyl wrapping that and calling that a day. But otherwise, the radio and everything works. All the controls work. The heated seats even work. Super nice. So there's the radio. It does have the Harman Kardon sound system in here, which is kind of cool. But the air conditioning works, heat works, heated seats work. Have to check and see if the cigarette lighter works. But again, with the windows, driver's side is the one that we need to replace the regulator on. Same thing with the passenger rear. But the other two are good. Obviously, the sunroof works. A little bit squeaky, could use some grease, but other than that, it's pretty solid. And the interior otherwise is pretty good. The leather's pretty good. And some wear and tear here on the buttons, but no big deal. So that's a quick rundown of the 2001 Project E46 330i. So if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, let us know in the comments. We are kind of trying to figure out what to do with this thing. For now, the plan is to kind of restore the vehicle, fix the things that need to be fixed, and kind of bring this back to life. And so we've already put a new battery in the thing. When we first picked up the car, the battery didn't actually work, and so we couldn't get the car to start. Swapped the new battery in, started just like that. So this car, again, runs phenomenally, and we just kind of need to figure out what to do from here. So if you guys have any suggestions, please let us know in the comments. But one of them I know for sure is going to be probably a transmission swap, manual swap. So if you guys have any suggestions on that, please let us know. We are open to new ideas, and kind of want you guys to play along and let us know what you guys think we should do to this vehicle. Should we kind of restore it? Should we turn it into a track car? What exactly do you guys want to see on the channel in terms of that? So I'm sure a lot of maintenance videos will be coming along shortly. I'd like to do an oil change, a transmission flush, maybe radiator flush, that sort of thing. A lot of the common general maintenance items need to be done on this thing, since it's kind of been sitting for the last who knows how long, last several years. So let us know what you guys think about the new car. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you see any potential in this? You let us know. We will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for checking in. And again, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. It really supports the channel and gives us the ability to do certain things like this. So we want to provide some content for you guys, and this is the way to do it. So you guys make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.